some thoughts and memories with us.
Bear with me. I'm going to try to get through this. First, my wife and kids weren't able to come to the service today. We were here a few weeks ago and spent some of the last days with my dad. And just unfortunately, they couldn't be here today, so they wrote a couple of things that they'd like me to read. My wife, Tracy, she wrote, "My father-in-law was the most loving and generous man that I ever had the pleasure of knowing. He always had kind words of encouragement, and he fiercely protected his family. I am beyond grateful to this wonderful man for the son that he raised. To be such a loving man as my husband. And though our time together was all too short, and his influences in our lives are evident every day, I will always remember his joyful smile, loving eyes, and the way it was so evident that he truly cared for his family, friends, and God. I will carry with me great memories and know that we will all be together someday standing in the glory of our Heavenly Father." My daughter Tiana wanted me to share. Even though I didn't know all too much about my grandpa, I do know that he was a great man. I can tell just by looking at my papa that he was a great father, and he loved his family more than anything. Friends, family, and faith, the three most important things in his life. And even through the toughest times, he was strong and supportive. I didn't know much about him, but I love him, and I always will. I just wish I had more time to get to know him better. From the testimonials in the slideshow, some of the people that have crossed the path of my father, you can see what a positive influence he's had on a lot of people. I guess he had mentioned to somebody in his last days that he felt guilty about the sadness he was going to cause the people he left behind. And just shows you what a selfless man he was. So I thought, since he didn't want those of us left behind to be sad, I thought I'd share a couple of happy memories from my childhood. One that really stands out is, I don't know very many of you here, but growing up, my father was a bit of a practical joker. And a lot of the ones that I was involved with had to do with organized sports that I was involved in. And generally the target of his jokes was my mother. For whatever the event was, for whatever reason, if she couldn't make it, Dad was always there with me. And we'd get home. On the way home, he'd tell me, "No, just act like you're upset, you're sad, you're not happy." He'd have the trophy behind his back. And so we'd find my mother at home, and she'd ask us how it went, and he'd look downtrodden and upset, "Oh, we didn't do very well." And then, of course, he'd spring the trophy on her. "Oh, you." Dad wasn't that involved in the sports I played growing up. Although he was there, he didn't coach, many things, but he did one season, coached my baseball team. It was my first year I was on a baseball team. The first year I played was on a baseball team that set a record for the league we were in. And either the next year or a couple years later, my dad decided, okay, well, he would coach my team. I love my dad. He's great at golf. A baseball coach, he was not. It was, at that time, it was the worst record of any team in that league up to that point. We did not win one game, but it was probably my favorite season. And just know that I'm really happy to see how many people he's touched. It does my heart good to know that he had this many friends, even if he didn't know all of you as friends. Thank you.